What's going on, good people of the internet? It is time once again for Comics Unmasked, the podcast where a bunch of folks shoot the breeze and talk about comic books and such. We are back for, what is this, 14?
14.
Yeah, 14. Yeah, we out here. We are on issue 14. When we drop this episode, it will be our month anniversary. So the fact that we're 14 issues in after a month, we doing more work than Marvel and DC combined out in these streets. We doing more than bi-weeklies out here. We dropping. But we got an action-packed episode for you between cancellations, rumors, new things, all kinds of nonsense. Grant Morrison writing himself into things. It's very interesting this week. So we're going to go ahead and dive into it. Don't forget that you can listen to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, your mama's fridge. I don't know, like anywhere
that
you want to.
That smartphone fridge.
Exactly.
I know you millennials love that smartphone fridge.
Yes, it's very high tech. Make sure you check us out.
Get your audio, get everything in on that smartphone fridge.
Most definitely. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all those things. We finally broke 200 followers on TikTok, so we appreciate y'all for your hard work. We have our awesome person Jed. She's going to be doing the weekly roundup for you folks. That way, if you want to know what's going on the episodes, she will be dropping that for you. That way you know what's going on each week and whatnot. We also will be having an awesome interview dropping in tandem with this episode with a awesome indie writer whose campaign is going on. So make sure you check out that. We're going to go ahead and dive into this nonsense. My name is JP. To my up above me, man, is in actually good internet today. He's not in the McDonald's.
He looks so gorgeous.
B-Rax, what's going on, though?
You guys can actually see my beautiful shining face. I'm not locked away in the back room, away from my internet box.
I'm literally so happy.
Everything should be clear, and I should actually be able to keep up on conversations this week and not give JP all the issues of audio editing and moving things back and moving things forward and being like, this man's talking about something that we talked about 30 minutes ago. What the hell's going on?
Bro, it'd just be wild too, because he'll be like,
so good though.
Yeah, and I'm like, B, are you okay? What's going on? You all right? Then we have the lady who's been reading by day and partying by night, Miss Astro. How you doing, girl?
I'm doing so good. I got a little bit of a cold this weekend, which is really sad because I was supposed to go to drag bingo at the club I always go to, and I'm sad because it was Wicked themed drag bingo, and I saw the movie Thursday, and I could have really won, killed, and then give them the prize money to the Queens. So I'm very upset, and I'm in mourning. Nobody speak to me for the remainder of this episode.
I am just in awe that I didn't even know that drag bingo was a thing.
It's so
I feel like I'm missing.
So much fun. They do drag brunches, drag bingo.
I feel like this is something I have to introduce my grandma to because she loves bingo so much, and I would love to see if the competitiveness of bingo would come out in her with
and the Queens would eat it up.
Exactly, my grandma would have the time of her life.
Okay. Then we have our special guest. She has been stirring up
very
the pots.
nice and very kind sitting here listening to us
very
absolutely
much.
Just riff on each other like we do.
She has been tearing it up with the Rogue Gambit shipping on the socials. Tearing it up, messing with folks. Mars, ThatComicsGirl, how you doing?
Howdy, friends. Listen, I was waiting until you made the introduction, but drag bingo is a blast. But you know what's even better than drag bingo? Sex bingo, because that is a thing.
Okay.
That's iconic, and I feel like
all right, let me mute myself and tell my girlfriend something real quick.
Yo. Okay, but no, let people know who you are and where you be at in the things and such.
Other than the fact that I go to drag bingos and sex bingos, obviously. So my name is Mars. I terrorize the internet as ThatComicsGirl. I consider myself now a comic content creator. However, I have spent the past decade as a comic journalist, as a comic podcaster, and basically just telling the whole internet why you should be reading comic books and basically trying to hold comic book publishers, artists, writers accountable for everything that they do.
Very nice.
Intro. Let us know.
Most def. We will be having her socials linked in the show notes. Make sure you pop that up. and we were going to go ahead and dive into this. First things first, I'm the realist. Second thing, I'm gonna jump the agenda because I feel like I need to highlight the fact that Stephanie Phillips has been burning up the socials and the announcements in the news. First, last week we had the announcement that she is going to be taking over Daredevil for Marvel in February.
Not only is she taking over for Daredevil, but she's the first woman to write on Daredevil since Ann Nocenti in the 90s or early 2000s.
Like so that, like there's
She's
that.
The first woman to be on Daredevil.
If it goes to anybody, it would be my queen, Miss Phillips. Oh, I love that fact.
Stephanie deserves it. Like, she's been teasing this for months. She has said several times that Daredevil is one of her favorite comic characters of all time. This is like her dream character. So as a girl who has never read Daredevil before but loves the Daredevil show, I'm waiting to let Stephanie Phillips pop my cherry.
Okay, I'm here for it. But then on top of that, we have the fact that she's going to be getting her book from Boom Studios Grimm turned into a TV show with Netflix from the creators of Smallville and Wednesday. And it's going to be having the supervising director of Love, Death, and Robots on this. And I remember reading like the first trade of Grimm a few years ago and was just blown away. So the fact that we're getting this, I'm just like, yes. Give it to me. We need more stuff like this. And the fact that we keep seeing like this, we saw Something Killing the Children. We see more indie titles. We saw Red Coat getting optioned. All these different like indie books that are finally getting traction. It shows that not every comic book has to be superheroes, capes, and cows. Like you can find some of the best stories in your comic shop right now that are just weird as hell. Like, your boy finally read Exquisite Corpses from James Tynion this week.
I can't believe you just now read it. When you dropped that, I was like, okay, Mr. Late to the party. He was like, guys, have you heard about this?
Bro, no,
I'm
it
not even
wasn't like,
bring
you heard
up
about
that
this. It was like,
JP's going to
guys,
introduce it
I
to me.
finally got this shit.
Like I still haven't even touched the book yet. Like I saw his TikToks earlier this week, and I'm like, all right, this is on the reading list now. I'm about to get flamed by the internet.
And my man started picking it up immediately. And it is just, Tynion has just been introducing concepts that are so not only current to the themes we're seeing, really reflecting on the real world, but like his morbid, dark, very like, let's go where no one really wants to go mentality when it comes to writing these stories and the no holds bar. I mean, when you think about Something That's Killing the Children, like I talk about it in my new video. Plug. But it like the first issue, children are gored. It's like it's there for you on screen.
He definitely doesn't hold back, and like
he doesn't hold back, and I love to see it as a writer.
So we've seen Tynion kind of explore several aspects of comics. So like he really got his big break and debut with writing Detective Comics with Rebirth, where he brought in all members of the Bat family. He was bringing in Batwoman and Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown and Tim Drake.
Luke Fox.
And he killed Tim Drake in his run, which was crazy. Like, you're coming out the cut just killing off a beloved Bat character.
That panel is like burned into my brain to this day.
So good, but I think where James, Mr. Tiny Onion, thrives is in these indie books where he basically can create a playground for himself. So like you mentioned, Something Is Killing the Children. I was telling JP about a 3-issue miniseries he did with Image called The Closet, and it was the exploration of basically what it means to be a bad dad, and what it means to be a shitty husband, while like putting on those horror elements because there's something in the closet, and it's like the whole message is like the little freak in the closet was the bad dad all along. But another one of my favorites from him, where it kind of just blows your mind, is The Nice House on the Lake.
Yes,
and that series, like, it's one of those. I always compare it to like a Jonathan Hickman book, like House of X and Powers of X, where you need to take notes while reading it, because you're gonna miss out on things, and that's one of those books where you got to reread. Yes,
not even take notes. It's like, well, if my brain doesn't digest what I just learned, I know I'm gonna have to go back and reread.
That's why that's why we're getting The Nice House by the Sea here with the Vertigo and the solicitations. It's just like, we're getting continuation, and like I don't know how this man sleeps. Like genuinely, it's scary. And B, like let me pitch this to you real quick. Like B, imagine if like the Illuminati did Hunger Games every 5 years. And like whoever wins gets to run the government for the next like the whole government for the next 5 years.
Insanity.
Like
Okay.
and like they all do like everyone gets a card, and the whole thing is like that's your weapon. You like your killer has that weapon and gets to do that thing to win the game. And man,
I'm calling it now. This is going to get optioned very quickly.
If it doesn't, I would be
it's such an
surprised.
insane concept. It's such an insane premise. I would love an animated show, low-key.
But this is the thing that I'm loving and that JP touched on is the fact that there's so much mediums that are being touched on that are finally getting their form of like television, TV shows, and just stuff like that. Because I feel like there's been just a show hole of things to where they've been throwing so much at the wall right now, especially Marvel and DC, because they're trying to get their names back out there, that like an industry can thrive off of original ideas like this. When everybody talks about, hey, we want something original, it's been sitting here. It's literally sitting here on our walls
shelves.
right
It's
here
on
the
your
entire time.
comic
You know,
store shelves.
it's right there. The original idea. Just make it. Just put it into an animation. You have people who are going to want to animate it because they're passionate about stuff like this. Like, I'm passionate about 2 comic books that you guys just brought up because I'm reading Something Killing the Children. Now I already have the Nice House at the Sea on Wikipedia over here, so it's in my search history, so I could throw that up on a pull list now.
Just throwing B like Tinian, and it's like, man, you gotta get him on there.
No,
Yeah,
because
it
like,
is,
I'm
guys.
waiting
So
for the day that
good.
like I'm waiting for the day that B comes onto the Discord server and is like, so guys, I found the Department of Truth. The whole world is a lie, and it's gonna be like, ooh, B done woke up. But no, like
I think that's his worst work. Please don't kill me. Don't
really
think I'll
interesting.
go.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll have to dig into that, but like, but like for Stephanie Phillips to get this much like bump, not only for it to be like breaking ground with Daredevil like this, but to then have Grimm be optioned, like she is getting it.
She's getting, and I'm
killing
so,
the
and like
game.
her social media presence too, like it is, and I've said it before, like Phillips is like what inspired me like to do the whole social media thing when in regards to comics, just because I not only admire how she fosters community, but I love just how excited she is to talk about her work and like how excited she is like talk about these characters and stuff like that and promote her fellow writers and artists. I think she is just such a welcoming, creative person that is not only in this industry but is like in this space with us, kind of like down on our level.
So, I think that Stephanie Phillips is the Gail Simone of this modern generation.
Honestly, yeah, she's our Gail, and I'm proud of it. And you
That's
tell
hot.
him.
I like that. I like that.
she's the
Well,
Gail
because like,
Simone of this generation.
because Gail has always been active on social. She's always been that person
Right.
who is not afraid to have those conversations. I don't know how she balances both Twitter and Blue Sky. Woman is a
Listen,
tank.
I had to meet Gail Simone because how much she posts. Like, I will go to Gail's social and read it, but I'm like, bro, you blowing up my phone. I
But
need
it's
you
like
to
the
tell
idea
her.
that like she
That's so funny to me.
you know, and like it's the fact that Stephanie isn't afraid to confront the weirdo commenter.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
not afraid to speak on that as
She's
a woman in the
badass,
space.
dude.
Like she kicks ass, and I don't envy her having to put up with that, but she definitely is showing that you can make space in this industry, especially after the fallout of what happened with 2016 with Marvel and Comicsgate and whatnot. You're still able to make a presence in these streets, and she's done it for herself. So I definitely like that analogy that she is the Gail Simone for a new age, because she
really
put it
is.
in that work.
She's kicking the door down. She's making space not only for herself but for other people, and she's not afraid to hold back, which is exactly what we saw Gail Simone did. Because you got to remember, Gail Simone got her start because she criticized DC Comics for
Literally.
essentially fridging a character, and
She created the term fridge.
created the term.
She started with Simpsons, but I there's like a rumor that she got her big break with DC because she was on these blogs calling out DC Comics for fridging and the treatment of female characters and other characters. And they essentially was like, you think you can do better? Go ahead, go and do better. And she didn't become because she was always, but she showed off that she was Gail frickin' Simone.
Period.
B, I don't think you have read that, have you? Like, you haven't read Gail's original article, have you?
No, I have not, and so that's
we'll have to get that
another
in a
thing
second.
that's being put on there right now.
So she does not hold back. Listen,
It goes back to that original thing, the whole Kyle Rayner finds his girlfriend in a fridge, and it's like,
See, but that's the thing is to where, like, I've read about that. I've heard that on the internet, and, like, that was one of the, like, study classes that I did in high school was whole about fridging and everything like that and just normal media. And I'm glad to hear that it's, like, this is the person that's actually did that.
To think
so I
it
can
was, like, one woman.
that, you know? Because that's the thing is, like, every media that I've come across now, I've had to analyze in a different aspect, especially going through, like, you know, the Old Negroes comic, which is the name of the comic people. Like, there's a lot of stuff in there that is more something that should be placed back into the 60s and the 50s and stuff like that. I will be one completely honest, but at the same time, it's stuff that you've got to remember that pushed us to the medium that we are now.
Yeah.
To where
you have
we
to
can
view it
actually...
in a vacuum because it definitely gives like cadence, especially when you listen to the Milestone documentary and they talk about the sidekick the Spirit had and talk about how much of a horrible caricature it was. It genuinely gives you a different perspective on things.
Scary.
So, but you know, so definitely we'll be keeping an eye on Stephanie. We've already reached out to her. Hopefully we're going to be able to sit down with her in January or February. So like, definitely look out for that because she is killing it. So like, we'll definitely be sitting down with her. The next piece of smaller bit news that we had fly across the desk was history was made this past week. Because if you guys didn't see, a almost mint. Because if you don't know that, like, CGC has a grading scale where it's 1 through 10. A Superman #1 from 1939 was found in an old house. These three brothers went into their mama's old house, and like she had said for years,
they
like,
found it in a closet.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Like she had said for years, I have all these old comic books. Like, oh, they'll be great for you guys one day. They never believed her. They never believed it. And when they finally went to go clean out her house, they found this. And they got it graded by the CGC. They graded it at 9.0, which is so scary to find for that old of a book because so many of those books were lost during the war because of like paper mills and whatnot having to make war bonds and stuff like that.
You had to give in your comics.
Yeah, so like for this book to be found, the highest graded Superman ever, and it sold for 9.12 mil at Heritage Auction.
That's like an archivist like wet dream, like there. That is so insane. The
only thing that I can think of is all of the parents that threw away their kids' comic books that are like, I was sitting on 9.8 I threw away $9.8 million because I was annoyed that my kid was reading comics. Or I threw away 9.
For real?
I was literally joking with my partner. If I ever got a time machine, I'd be going back in time and getting 1 million copies of Detective Comics #27, bringing them back, and we'd be billionaires. Okay?
No, like for real though, because like I've watched documentaries and like you hear these dudes talk about how like I think it was the founder of Dark Horse who straight up said you have these parents who wanted to get rid of those damn comic books, like those things that like ruined Johnny and Timmy's lives and wanted to throw them to the war effort, and you watch this history be burned. That's why like there was a story of like a few years ago where there was like an Action Comics #1 that that the whole cover got split off because they dug into a wall, and it was still like sold for millions of dollars because it was a piece of history. The whole cover was torn off, but that thing was still worth tons of money because of how rare that stuff was.
No, yeah.
So like this is amazing.
And if any of you guys are like interested in comic history, like that is like the starting point for a lot of historians or people that like do work like us, where it is, well, of course, first it's kind of the introduction of not only like the comic strip, but then the surging of Marvel and DC like as these two super big powers, and like that whole like foundational history. But like the real meat and potatoes is this kind of scare during, and it's really interesting to couple that with the theme that those comics were talking about, which was essentially like, let's not lose hope, like we're all Americans and we need to fight together and we need to rally together. And it's just really interesting in the retrospect of the messages that these comics were teaching, kind of almost in a way invigorating people to be like, I gotta give my comics. And it's like, such a piece now is lost because that messaging was too good. They believed Superman too much. I don't know. It's cool to me.
And that's the crazy thing, though, is like when you talk about them believing in these superheroes so much to where like these kids were jumping off of buildings wanting to be like Superman. These kids were getting hurt themselves, you know, wanting to recreate these things they were seeing in comic books, you know? Like there was a push for that kind of aspect of like safety measures for kids back then. But at the same time, though, you've overdone those safety measures in such a way that I feel like it's stifled creativity with Marvel and DC, that they've got to stick down such a certain avenue that now we're starting to see Grimm get its dues.
See,
we're
we
starting
don't
to see
want
these independents
our
come
kids
in.
reading liberal themes.
I'm
it's
sorry,
too
I
woke,
forgot that
these
was
guys,
too woke.
Man.
These
It's
guys.
too woke. And it's wild too, because when you think about it, like the idea of politics back then, like people say all the time, comic books aren't political. You literally had Bucky Barnes trying to convince kids to buy war bonds. You had Superman
Guys,
fighting.
read Golden Age. It can get messy. As we've said before, and as V just touched on a little bit, there are things that in our modern view is like, oh, okay. But
Sure.
if you want to know a little bit more about kind of where we are, like how we've been insinuating, get a few gold, at least like 30 issues. Pick a few characters, rotate, just get a feel for what the theme at least was. Don't go too far into Wonder Woman. Please. Please, God, don't.
Now here's the question. Who do we think spent 9 point whatever million on? Because here's my bet.
Post Malone.
I think it was Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is the biggest Superman fan known to
You
man.
know what? That would probably be Nicolas Cage.
Wait, that
Yeah,
was the
you are
iconic.
right.
It was an anonymous bidder.
It
but
would
it's
be
like,
hello.
So have you ever heard the crazy story about Nicolas Cage where he had a copy of Action Comics? Somebody broke into his home or whatever. They stole it. And I think it was like within 48 hours, he had another copy. It's like, how, why, friend? Like, so
No,
it
and
makes
that's
me
why
wonder,
he was going to be Superman. That's his boy.
it makes me wonder if I was a millionaire, billionaire, whatever, what would I be willing to drop insane amounts of money on?
I mean, for me, it would be Tomb of Dracula #1, like, or not #1, number 10, like perfectly CGC'd, as high of a grade as I can get. Because Blade is my favorite superhero. That would be on my desk, on site. I don't care. That and Miles Morales' Ultimate Fallout #4, like that, like those two are like my grails, my sought afters, and it would be on site. I do not care.
Oh, that's a good question.
That is
That's
a good
really
question, and I can't even think about
question.
it because I feel like Wonder Woman is the easy answer, but now I'm just kind of thinking about like the spending of collecting and I don't want to. Well, we can move on quickly because that's too deep into what we do.
Oh no, like
So
there's like some days where we
I don't
talk
wanna
more
poke
about
the balloon.
collecting because like it gets into the weeds. Like that's why people were seeing that like Grimm #1. Like they'll go back to that. Like they're already seeing
Yeah.
that like people starting to hand
Yes,
in
sir.
CGC copies. If you look at the Key Collector app, they're already saying that like different copies of Grimm #1 are hitting the CGC submissions because of it getting optioned. So you like never be afraid to go back and grab those keys, especially minor keys that you don't like that you know are smaller right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Like grab an Exquisite Corpses, grab a Grimm here and there because they will blow up at some point.
You don't know.
Those are safe bets.
I know some people that still have like Umbrella Academy just because like
I was
NCR
shocked
had and
with
was
that
just
one.
like, let's go, let's read like I love a Gerard Way. I'd do anything for her. So, but like you don't even think, and it's like one of those things that like Umbrella Academy and the Netflix show is such its own zeitgeist with its
Honestly,
own
I was-
fans that it's
As
so
soon as I
separated from the
watched
comics.
the Umbrella Academy, I was pulled into that I'm still trying to pick up everything Umbrella Academy related so I could just start soaking more of it in because that just had me hooked.
It's good, and Elliot in it is even better.
Yes.
Ooh, okay, I'm so excited for that.
And like honestly, now I kind of want to see B read Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol and then read Gerard Way's Doom Patrol and watch his brain just melt.
You
Let's
know
get a
what?
Venn
That would
diagram and
honestly
see
be
what you
Doom
thought.
Patrol. That would be the big things that I would spend some money on. Because as soon as I watched the TV show for that had me some hooked in there. That hooked me. And so I was like, Doom Patrol would be the one I drop millions for. Because I just feel like there's some gold in that.
Oh, for sure, most definitely. So from there, I'm gonna bundle these two together because they're kind of relevant. So we found out that the Lantern show with Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart is being delayed until late 2026, and
It's so funny. Someone in server was like, "We haven't seen any pictures of the sets." And I
all
think
we've seen is that
no,
one
and I think
picture.
it was Lovey
Anything.
that was like scary.
And I'm just like, there's no trailer, there's no excitement. Like, it just, when is it coming out? When are we finally gonna get a live action Jon Stewart? Like,
No,
maybe,
like that
maybe
is a scary thing. Like, because it's one of those things that's like, I'm not surprised. Oh wow, another superhero show got delayed. Like, oh, but it's also one of those things that's like, I'm really fascinated if this is kind of an MCU move where we just plan so far ahead, we actually don't have anything but story map concepts for some of these things. And it's one of those things that, like, we're all creatives here. We all work in this kind of thing. Sometimes project dates come faster than you and I could ever fucking realize. So it's like, I am not surprised that, like, they blinked and we didn't really have money, time, people, whatever. What have you?
I feel like they had to have done something, though, because I remember reading an article where Nathan Fillion was saying that he has said the word fuck more in the Lantern show than he has in his entire career.
That's right.
So they had to have had either filmed stuff or at the very least he's gotten a script. So we have to have something, right?
Or do you
You
think
would
that
hope
was like done in
so.
conjunction with the Superman stuff? So only like
no.
guys...
They definitely have cooked up a certain amount of it. My fear is of twofold, and it's gonna go into this a little bit.
Amount.
That is a matter of like, I'm worried about the effects budget because of all this rumors of WB getting bought and whatnot. I'm worried about that, especially because they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be really grounded, guys. It's gonna be really grounded." How can you make Green Lanterns grounded? Like,
No,
let's
you
really
can't.
talk about
They're
that.
space cops.
I'm gonna be
Right,
so
like,
honest. I wasn't even thinking about like special effects budget this whole time because I really looking at like the pictures, quote unquote. I'm just thinking of like a Blue Blood, something
Like,
like
it's
that.
just-
I was
like,
like,
honestly,
we're-
like,
like,
better
this is like
than
a
I'd be happy.
SVU type.
Like it worries me. It's gonna be like Torchwood with Green Lanterns. Like, it feels like it's gonna be so low to the ground
Oh, no.
that it's gonna be cringe. And
Well,
I'm just
like
like,
the
can
word
we
grounded
not?
is such a such a heavy insinuation. What do you mean? The space cops that fly. Sorry for. I don't want the Lantern fans for getting mad at me for saying space cops.
How dare
the
you.
space
But, like,
protector.
They're space cops. Get
The
out of
space
here.
authorities.
Let's really talk about that. For the Lantern fans that really get upsetting spaghetti about that, they're cops. Like, it sucks to say, but like,
I don't
they're
wanna
the
say
cops. Like, if you like go read Final Crisis from Grant Morrison, and you'll see they even had like Green Lantern SWAT that had like cybernetic hybrid implants. Like,
See, I was gonna say read Green Lantern, Green Arrow by
I was about
Danny
to say,
O'Neill, where they
I was
call
about to-
his ass
I
out.
was about to say,
Right,
JP,
like,
now,
it's-
like for someone who doesn't like Damien, hearing you just being like, just read the Grant Morrison.
No, because like I point that out. I'm gonna make a joke about that when we get to that shit. But I point that out because I hate when people try to say that Green Lanterns aren't cops, because they are, and it's okay to have like cops in storytelling that are better than actual cops. Because
They're not
just
real
because
cops. I like SVU. We love and law
right,
and
like,
order.
like, yes, all cops are bastards. We could definitely have that conversation about like real world and shit like that and police brutality. But there's still like, it's okay to have police forces in fiction. Like, I was arguing with people about Power Rangers this past week, and someone hopped in my comments and was like, "Oh, Jack can't be the best Red Ranger because ACAB," and I'm like, hold on. Like, that's neither here nor there, my guy.
Take. For my own selfish reasons, I love that take.
Like, we can't really bounce back and forth here because if
Listen,
you're
I'm ACAB all the way, but I will defend Jim Gordon until I'm blue in the face.
And I loved Gotham, and my favorite parts of Gotham were the detective scenes.
Same
I
with
loved
like
being
Renee
the
Montoya.
GPP of
I will
stars.
Yes.
defend Renee Montoya, and then it goes so far as like, Well, Batman, he's kind of a cop in his own Batman way.
His own Batman
so
way?
is it ACAB to Batman? I mean,
we
yes,
all love a little propaganda as long as the propaganda is okay with us.
I mean, like,
that's just really what it
that
is.
conversation.
Like propaganda that's like one of those things that's like I keep joking about an SVU because I love an SVU, but when it comes to the conversation of like a DC and a DC specifically, our idea and their idea like of cops and regulation, like, and all that shit, like, they make it clear that the way the Lantern Corps operates is not the same as the GCPD. But sometimes
Yes.
it is kind of
Yes.
the same as the GCPD, and then
They
you
have
have
crime
a
scenes
group of
from time to
Lanterns that
time. Like, it
recognize
goes into
and
that shit, yes.
that's just
And,
like,
like,
the story beats and plots that we use for like this type of organizational, like, here are people we send out to go here, there, whatever.
And, like, even if you don't want to use, like, oh, they're cops, if anything, they're the space feds. Like, is that a better
Feds is a
way to put
heavier
it?
word.
Because I remember when Infinite Crisis happened, and you had a whole, whole solar system worth of
Right.
lanterns guarding Superboy Prime in a Red Sun jail. Like, if you really
Oh
want,
my gosh, right.
like, if you want a better analogy than Space Cop, maybe Space Feds is the better way to put it, because they really do be on that ish where they have to pull up with a whole army to do certain things. They have a planet that's a whole Green Lantern. Like, it really do be like that
It's
sometimes where they have
propaganda
to
in the same way the plumbers in Ben 10 are. And we just have to live and learn,
Yes.
and I'm really
We're
excited
making Mars
for
think. She's like,
Green
wait a minute.
SVU.
So, like,
Man, I miss
we
Ben
can only
10.
hope this show will come out at some
Me
point.
too. We should make this a Ben 10 show. I want to be talking about Ben 10 right now.
Right.
Now,
I mean,
whether
We are getting a
La-
Ben 10 comic in 2026. So,
I
like,
did see that, so I'm excited for that.
Dynamite's
Astro's
putting that out.
happy.
I'm excited about
I love
that.
Ben 10.
So, but yeah, no. So
Anyway, the
hopefully
Lantern
the show
show's not
comes
real and
out.
it's not coming. I'm sorry, guys.
But like, but in tandem with that, there's the conversation of the fact that WB Discovery is being like optioned for sale because they're open for bids, and Paramount and members of like rich billionaire families and now the Saudi Arabian government might be trying to buy WB Discovery. And
What's going on? What's happening?
Really
and
the
it's like-
situation.
and this is the first time this year that like the Saudis have made a big play like this. We saw them buy EA with Trump's son-in-law. So this isn't the first time we've seen the Saudis do some whack ass shit. But like now there's rumors from the alt-right pipeline of Comicsgate that if the Saudis buy Warner Brothers, they're gonna kick James Gunn out and give us the Snyderverse back. And I'm just like, I'm so
The concept
tired.
that the idea of James Gunn immediately being kicked out means that
Can I
Snyder's coming back.
Can I say something that might be controversial as
No,
your,
go for-
as
go-
your
let's go
guest
for it.
today? The
No,
Snyder
you can be
fans-
controversial. You're the guest. Let us
Oh,
know.
perfect. Love that. So the Snyder fans, this whole Snyder movement, they are a group of terrorists. They are
Yes.
literally terrorists. They held WB hostage. They held DC Comics hostage with release the Snyder Cut. Well, then they got the Snyder Cut, and they still wanted more, and then they started another hashtag that was restore the Snyderverse. It's been like 5 years. We
Was that
literally
real?
just got the most popular superhero
felt like a
movie
fever dream.
in generations that has brought in a whole new wave of comic books, and yet you still want crumbs? No, get out. You're
He-
done.
That's
So,
crumbs. No,
like,
heavy
he-
on the crumbs, actually.
Yes.
But like,
yes.
here's the thing. I said it in my TikTok video, but like, I genuinely put it like this: you really think Cavill wants Snyder back when when Cavill openly admitted he preferred Whedon's version of Superman? You really think freaking Ben Affleck wants to come back when he had a horrible time for the 5 minutes he filmed The Flash?
That man literally has PTSD from
Yes,
being a part of it.
you really think that anybody wants Ezra Miller touching a WB
No,
lot?
and like it's one of those
Like-
things that, guys, I know, because even I like to live in my own world where like that didn't happen, and I act and move in a way as if that didn't happen. But to really acknowledge the insanity of that time, Ezra Miller they quite literally were convicted
Kidnapped
or
people.
accused. I don't know. Don't get me, Ezra, and your little situation that you have going on, a cult, some would say. It is so insane the way we moved during that time, and the idea that movie released to begin with, like us knowing as fans and as an audience and the cast knowing, and all these layers of like, Ezra's the worst.
I'd hate to be George Clooney walking to that premiere for the after credit scene, bro.
Ezra Miller literally held the entire state of Hawaii hostage.
Yeah.
While they caused terror.
Multiple times, I mind you, in Hawaii.
Hijinks.
And it's like when you think about it, you have Cavill who preferred Whedon's vision. You preferred, like, you have Affleck who doesn't want to go anywhere near that. You have everybody who doesn't want Ezra Miller anywhere near this. You have Momoa who called Gunn the day Gunn got announced to be a part of this new project and said, Lobo.
Wait a minute. Are you calling my husband Henry Cavill? I just put two and two together. I'm like, who is Cavill?
My bad. Anyway, but like,
my king, if you are listening to this, because I know you are, I am so sorry for JP.
I love him to death. That dude is gorgeous, and I'm still mad about freaking Witcher. What the fuck?
It's not his fault.
Who wants Thor's little brother in here?
That's
it's bullshit.
a different nerd conversation, bro. I
know, right? But I mean, there is Witcher comics, but no. And then you have the really big thing in the room, the really big impeding thing in the room. I don't really see the Saudi Arabians really wanting Gal Gadot in the room, if you know what I mean. As much bullshit they have with Israel, do you really think that the Saudis really want the Snyderverse back?
But it's one of those things where, like, whenever we have this conversation of, like, restore the Snyderverse, it is always in this dream fantastical world of, like, the same cast.
Yes, that's the problem. Is that they think it will be the same cast, but Cavill doesn't want to be here. Affleck doesn't want to be here. No one wants Ezra to be here. I don't really think the Saudis want Gal to be here. Momoa doesn't want to be there. Momoa wants to be painted white. So I don't really think that anybody wants to have this conversation other than the weirdo Snyder bros. I really feel like we need to just move on.
And I thought it was over. And that's what I said before, a vocal minority. I thought we moved on. That's why I'm surprised we're even here.
I agree.
Right?
Like, the Snyder stuff happened, 2020, 2021? We are now 5 years past. Let it go.
That's the thing, too. They're all older now. They don't want to be a part of this shit.
Well, that's also the thing that's like, it's so old. I remember during day camp that I would go to in the 4th grade, we went on a trip to see Man of Steel.
Ooh.
And that was my first kind of experience with DC movies. And then, as we all know, I got into Marvel animated stuff because I was like, guys, what's going on? What is this?
You had to watch like Cavill have to break a man's neck in 4th grade. I'm so sorry.
And it was IMAX.
Oh no!
It was my first ever IMAX experience.
They made sure Astro was seeing it. They were like, "Look at it."
You're watching this.
We were all in camp shirts, like our bright ass fucking camp shirts, just lined up in an IMAX theater that no longer exists. And it's just that decision and the snap neck, and I'm like, I'm lost.
That's crazy.
This is the whole element that I have for that, is that even with these minorities that are speaking out so much for this, they're not contributing into this comic book community for it. These aren't the people that are showing up every Wednesday and Tuesday for New Comic Book Day. These aren't the people who are pre-ordering stuff or even putting stuff on a pull list. These are just people who are like, this is my version that I want to see. I got that version. And then now I'm complaining that I don't get to be spoon-fed more every single time I get to have one drop of something different. It's a conversation that we have every single week, to where we're not excluding you from this. You have your thing. Enjoy that thing. Allow other people to have their thing now.
That Snyder Cut's long as hell.
And like,
as long as you watch it over and over again.
It fills up my day twice.
Yeah, no, like I'll end the Snyder nonsense with this. Like love him or hate him, there's a really good 3-part like YouTube series by Movie Bob where he breaks down why BVS is one of the worst things ever to be produced by cinema. And it genuinely, you sit there and watch it and you understand, your mind is opened to what went wrong with this universe and this project, and you understand why it needs to die. I remember getting a review like screener for the Snyder Cut when it dropped, and I sat there and was like, this would have been really cool when it first came out. But honestly, I kind of preferred Jason Momoa stabbing a parademon midair with a trident and howling in excitement and hearing a better version of Come Together by a black man riffing on the guitar.
Movies.
Like, I genuinely preferred, I hate to say it, I don't want to be that guy, but I preferred the Whedon cut. I really want to be that, because there was something about people get upset about it, and I know Ray Fisher wasn't very happy about it, but there's something about the booyah. There's something about the Aquaman having fun.
It felt like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yes, and that's what you need for your start of a universe, damn it, and they didn't want to do that.
And that's the thing is, I have people who don't go and collect comic books, and they will go and watch the Justice League movie, and they'll talk to me, and they're like, aren't you disappointed that there isn't the booyah in there? And I'm like, yeah, I have to be, because that was the iconic thing from Teen Titans for me, from Cyborg, was hearing him say that, and then seeing that on the big screen just made the kid in me just want to sprout out and be like, that's my superhero. If
I can live in a world where I have the Snyder Cut Ray Fisher origin plot plus the booyah, sure, all day, every day. Yeah. Let's have that conversation.
Thumbs up
because the stuff they did with Vic and his dad and that was cut from the Snyder Cut, sure, we can have that conversation. I prefer the version of Steppenwolf in the Snyder Cut. We can have that conversation. But there's something about the bright blue Cavill coming down in the Whedon cut. And as goofy as it is,
I'm a big fan of Justice.
Yes, it feels better. It feels right. And I still say to this day, if you could have been like Cavill and Gunn making new Superman, I'd have been there day one, all day, every day, day one. And Corn Sweat, cool, he's fine. I'm cool with it. I'm not a fan of the Kingdom Come logo. It's fine. Not for me. But overall, if I could live in a world where Gunn wrote Cavill, I'd be the happiest kid in the candy store, and all these punks would shut up. End of day. So it's just, I hope this doesn't happen, and I don't see it happening because it doesn't logically make sense.
Crazier things have happened, honestly. So
oh my god,
I can't even say it won't or it will. I don't
know. But so we'll move on from there. We're gonna bounce through a couple of these Marvel and DC solicitations. First for the Marvel. I want to specifically plug this because it matters. We are getting a restart to a relaunch to Storm's ongoing, because we had Storm for a few issues, then we had Rogue Storm. That's been a weird book, and then we're having Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant. And the writer of the book was on Twitter saying this has been approved to be an ongoing series, but then he came back yesterday and said it's only been approved for 5 issues so far, so you have to go buy this book. You have to go pre-order this book. If you want to see more Storm, I know all these Twitter goblins are out here in the streets going, oh, Storm's the best. If I don't see you on this pre-order list, if I don't see you on League Comic Geeks pre-pulling this book, I'm gonna know you fake. I'm gonna know you shallow as hell and don't care about the medium. Because y'all say all this damn time you want more Storm, you want more black characters, show me. Pull up, because I'm tired of this nonsense. I'm tired of this bullshit about y'all want more black heroes, you want more black this. Storm is the only black character that's going to have an ongoing starting in February. DC has no black ongoings right now. Marvel is canceling Miles Morales because of their stupid 42 gimmick, and it's annoying as hell. Storm is the only black character with an ongoing. Prove you want to pull up. That's all I have for that. Daredevil is happening. We know that. We're hyped for Stephanie Phillips. Moon Knight and Punisher are getting new launches. Punisher by Ben Percy, and then Moon Knight by Jed McKay. We talked about those at the New York Comic Con episode. Black Panther is getting a 60th anniversary special book. There was a little bit of controversy about this one on Twitter this week, because I don't know if y'all saw from the solicitation article I dropped in the chat. But if you look up at the Black Panther anniversary covers, they're like, I know Marvel is doing a thing because there's a Daredevil Colonial one too, but there's something really weird about Jack Kirby-esque T'Challa jumping out of a out of a boat with a bunch of colonial white men. That is a little not good. And I feel like somebody in the office really kind of made a boo-boo here. Does the homage look cool? Yes. But does the optics of this look bad? Yikes.
Always. And that's usually what happens when it comes to in spaces like this, when it comes to like an homage thing and putting characters where we want to put them and not even thinking, just like kind of looking, just being like, how will your average regular schmo that doesn't read a comic book look at this one? How does that read to them? What if I showed this to my aunts and uncles? What would they think of it?
Yeah, and that's kind of the premise of it. You got to look at the outside perspective, because there's certain things that like I can't show my grandparents because they're just gonna look at that and be like, what? They're going to ask me 20 different questions, what's going on here, and I kind of got to explain to them, and it's like, this is artist interpretation, this is what's going on in this is just a cover.
I feel like for this situation specifically, though, it's like, I don't know, like one look at it, it's like, yeah, I get it, but like, ooh.
Like, there's a theme. It specifically says it's called the Bicentennial Calendar Hidden Gem Variant by Bob Brown. And Bob Brown is a well-known comic artist. He's done things for years. He has a lot of old school books and whatnot. But maybe T'Challa wasn't the one to do this with, guys.
Right. Right.
It just feel like, am I excited because like we just had Evan Narcissus on the show? He's going to be having a story in the book. That's super exciting. Cody Ziegler is going to have a story in the book. There's a bunch of old, like other characters that are going to be other artists that are going to be contributing to this. It sounds cool. I was worried that Marvel was going to like just let T'Challa 60 just kind of go by because he doesn't have an ongoing right now. He has a mini spinning out of Imperial. But, like, is it cool? Yes. Am I really not looking forward to anybody looking at this cover from a casual lens?
Let's see if this will be on the shelves. We'll see how many orders. Because it's a variant, isn't it?
It's a variant cover.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I'm gonna say, like, there wasn't really like many other highlights from the Marvel solicitations that I was really bugging about. Like there was Dead Hands of Kunlun that's gonna have Danny, Lindley, and Pei, which I like to this day, I will always say that it irks me. I understand there was the whole they wanted Swordmaster from Future Fight to become the new Iron Fist and whatnot. But what irks me about that, like, because the whole idea was, oh, we want an actual Asian character to be Iron Fist.
Right.
And I'm like, that's cool. I see what you're doing there. But we just had this really cool, like, Comixology exclusive Marvel book where Danny trained Pei to be Iron Fist. Why not have an Asian female Iron Fist? Why do we need to have your mobile game character take over this mantle?
Because Marvel's not ready for the woke agenda.
Well, I mean, to a certain extent, they act like they should because you had Netmarble and NetEase come in from these. Well, like, they had them come in from these mobile game companies and be like, "Y'all's Asian characters are kind of rough, y'all. Y'all need to fix this because you got Shang-Chi and you got Jubilee." And then you gave Big Hero 6 to Disney, so y'all need to fix it up a little bit here.
I honestly just feel like Marvel just likes to dangle the donut in front of us and then just be like, all right, now it's away. You guys don't get it. Just a little tease. That's just all it is.
No, and it's like one of those things that, like, when you think of like a character and a like fan base of Iron Fist, is it really a big enough majority that's gonna get this talked about kind of thing? Like, I always think of, like,
which is fair, but I will give it, like, when the movie came out, I got hyped for him. I really just ended up going and seeing. I still watch it at least like every once a month or so. It's just
the Shang-Chi movie was good, and I am disappointed in Marvel for having I thought it was solid, and I thought there was a great potential that could be done now with the introduction of this character to mainstream, and I held my
flopped.
breath.
Go anywhere with it.
They
I
flopped
held
it.
my
They gave
breath.
him 1 mini, and there was nothing else after that.
It
And
was
I'm like,
weird, and it's always
but-
been weird with the MCU. Like, it's one of those things that's like, yeah, the movie did really good, and like people that aren't really buying comics, it received well with them, but is it receiving well with people that do read comics? And the MCU is so far into it and so far up its own whatever that it's like, well, do we care if people that read comics enjoy it? So like that's what disappointed me specifically, like with Shang-Chi, because like it could have been so cool, and we could have had a broader and bigger conversation, like we were saying, of Asian characters in the Marvel universe, but it just was taken from us. Marvel likes to take and take and take, while DC doesn't give it all.
Yeah.
Well, like, and the whole thing with Shang-Chi always bothers me because, like, there's the issue at hand of, like, dude has a really problematic origin.
Yeah.
And I know they've tried to, like, patch the wall a little bit of his origin over the years. They've tried. But then the MCU was like, oh, hey, he's the Mandarin's kid. And it's like, the Mandarin has a really problematic past, too. Do we really want to, like, retcon this? Can we get, like, a reboot before we retcon that? No, sliding timeline. It's fine. It's fine. And it's like, ooh.
Like, I suppose. Ooh.
And it's just like, it goes to the idea that maybe Marvel needs, like, a better version of a New 52, like a fresh launch point that isn't just, like, chaotic as fuck.
Well,
Bro, no,
there's rumors that that's happening in 2026.
There's rumors of it, but like there was this awesome TikTok video someone made that because of like Chip Zdarsky's plan of like this like giant thing coming out of Ultimates that's gonna be like these like doomsday thing. It sounds really cool, but then when I see Moon Knight #1, Daredevil #1, Iron Man #1, I'm sitting like, y'all about to have an all new, all different Marvel problem again, where y'all launched all these damn books, but you want to reboot the universe. What's going on here?
No, and it's one of those things that like, guys, you just saw how the formula didn't really take. It's one of those, I think about this so fondly. It probably in about like the 6th or 7th grade when like, and in my time, I'm 22. I am the Zoomer here. Just needs to let everyone know. Could we tell? I bet we could. The conversation I have with a dear friend, who we all moved on eventually to just being like, yeah, the MCU is great and we'll watch the movies. But I do remember the beginning conversation that was had where my friend Colin made the argument of like, well, it's not really like interesting to watch stories of like all these different superheroes and then have to watch like a big major one where they all come together and then watch them like fall apart again. And I was, and me and my boyfriend, so I guess we had to have been like 16 or 15 at this time. And the conversation was like, oh, you don't get it, like, that's just how the comics are, and that's just, like, but now that I'm a little older, like, talking to him as still somebody who doesn't read comics and just watches movies and enjoys film, yeah, it kind of is a little difficult of a formula for someone that doesn't really keep up with media in the way that we have to as comic fans, that I can totally see getting burnt out quicker than we fucking whatever we do here, us ridiculous heads. And I
we
didn't
have
want
an
to admit
addiction,
it.
and we can just
listening to this, he was
thrive
right,
in
but,
that.
It's
No,
hard
I
to admit.
agree with that. It's hard. It's a hard thing to admit, but at that as a storytelling device for movies, they need to be able to layer something a lot better than what they have been doing. And one of the things I was talking about with some coworkers is like Doomsday is coming out here soon, and it doesn't feel like Marvel has been pushing that as big as they pushed Endgame. And that's one of the things that are going to make it flop, is that they're not pushing it as
Nobody
big as it
knows.
should be. And because people know about it, but nobody like knows about it, you know? We all know that all these superheroes are going to be in there, but that's because we're in this medium. We love this
Exactly.
kind of genre. Most other people are going to be going like, oh yeah, there's going to be a new Avengers movie and I hear Robert Downey Jr.'s in it. That's basically what it is.
Someone
Like, most
that
people
really,
don't
really
even know-
liked Iron Man 2 is like, oh, that sounds sick.
Most people aren't going to know that we're going to be having like some of the most random characters in there. I'm forgetting his name, but the guy who played Beast is going to be in it, you know?
Oh,
Like,
Kelsey
we're going
Grammer.
to be-
Yes.
Yeah, Kelsey Grammer. We're going to be
It's
having like
insane.
all of those people in there that are like
thrilled. This is a lifetime. Like, my dad would be like going to the theater
absolutely.
every single week to go see this movie so he could analyze it 20 different ways. That's how many people are going to be in it. But everybody only knows Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in it, you know? And so there needs to be this aspect of splitting of this storytelling, of bringing back these characters, of constantly having to bring something up that has already been there and give us something new in this movie universe.
More
That's
trust
why
in
we're
the
so
audience, maybe.
I know, right? That's why we're so big on pushing for this continuity to continue, because we would like to see, you know, our new Captain Americas in there. We would like to see some of these new binary characters that have been introduced, but we don't get to see that because you guys don't have faith in it. I would love to actually start seeing Wanda on the big screen more instead of just throwing her on the TV shows.
Right, and it's like one of those things
Wanda
that's like...
coming back? That's funny.
That's
Elizabeth
hilarious.
Olsen doesn't want to be anywhere near this shit
No,
anymore.
and it's like one of those things that like your own actors are burnt out after a while, and your own actors become fucking trauma bonded to one another. If you want to look at like how Mark Ruffalo thinks of the cast now, especially with the whole political happenings and their very stark stances, it's like this is not even a fun environment that like the actors want to join. And I remember when everyone wanted to be in the MCU, and it's like, oh, well, I don't really want to. They're not answering the call, and it's like I wouldn't either.
You
Can we talk about Deadpool? Can we talk about Deadpool and Batman now, please? I'm scared.
Oh, yes.
I've been itching for that one.
This MCU conversation, I'm scared.
Well, let me burn through the DCs real quick, and then we'll hop on that. Oh yeah, you forgot about DC solicitation. We've been going so wacko about this. So Vertigo
DC
is coming back, kids. Make sure
wacko.
that you get in your house and get ready for Vertigo. We hinted that with James Tinney, and that we're getting more Vertigo. We talked about it for New York Comic Con, but yes, all these different Vertigo books are coming out. If you need a break from some superheroes and you need some supernatural horror-esque thriller things, make sure you peep over to the Vertigo side of the DC labs.
Hell yeah.
And you peep for some good stuff. I must say, Mars, are you excited for Vertigo?
I'm very excited for Vertigo. I just wish DC Comics gave Karen Berger her dues, because we would have no Vertigo without Karen Berger, and then they kind of just kicked her out, and then was like, oh, by the way, 10 years later, we're bringing Vertigo back, and it's like, So I'm a little hesitant, because did Karen Berger make Vertigo? And while I'm very excited about some of the new stories coming out, like Kyle Starks is going to be doing a book, like we talked earlier, Nice House by the Sea is getting republished as Vertigo. I'm excited. I'm hesitant, because I've been burned once before.
Okay,
No, that's fair. That's fair.
All right. DCKO number 4, as well as we finally got the title of the Homelander Sub-Zero Annabelle fight book. It's called DCKO Boss Battle is coming out. I'm gonna make it really easy for y'all. Like, all you need to do, because apparently Superman is gonna be training with Homelander, and I'm like, bro, all you gotta do is put this bitch on the ground and walk away. That's all you gotta do, Clark. That's all you gotta do, Clark, is put him in the ground and walk away. Because if they even give us the like I genuinely I'm fearful that somebody at WB heard from Dynamite or somebody or Amazon and was like, you gotta make Homelander look a little good. And I'll be like, no. Put him in the ground. Put all the alt-right weirdo boys in the ground with one panel, and then Clark just goes next. Like, it doesn't need to be anything complicated. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. I don't need Homelander getting any licks in. I need it to just be Clark
don't
puts
even
him
give
in the
him
ground.
dialogue. I think it'd be cooler if we
Like,
don't
here's
even let
the
him
thing.
talk.
Here's the thing, like, JP, is this is kind of how I envisioned this going, was Homelander coming in, trying to flex his muscles, goes in and gets his, like, 1 or 2 punches in on Superman, and then he just kind of stands there like a rock. And it's just that scene that you see with, like, Omni-Man and Invincible in that first episode and stuff like that. Sorry, not Omni-Man and Invincible. Omni-Man from Invincible in that first episode, to where he's going against everybody. Spoilers alert if you haven't seen that. That's kind of what I envision going on. Everybody should have seen that by now. But that's what I envision, is to where he's trying to go all out, use his super laser eyes, and then nothing's just about
But hear me out. We all know who's going to win. And it's going to be Patrick Hovarth's Little Bear, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's going to be Little Bear.
Yes. Because that book is so good.
Where are
Why
we?
is it so good?
Where am I?
Then
This
we
is
have
the DC universe.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, okay.
honestly, but like, then we have Sirens Love Hurts, which I'm still confused why that's a Black Label book. Why not just let?
Because Teenie Howard's gonna write it and she's gonna let them fuck, okay?
What is
That's
that?
the
I
only
was
reason.
like,
She's
wait.
gonna let them fuck, okay?
Because she's a real one.
Thank
And Miss Howard is
you.
for the girls.
I am
No, Mars gets it.
listen. I am really, really excited for that book. I'm kind of like annoyed that they're throwing Black Canary in with the Sirens, but like I'm really excited to see Teenie Howard write Black Canary, and also I'm getting a Black Canary Green Arrow wedding again. How many times can I
That's
get
what
them
I
to
said.
be married?
I was like, why we need another wedding? Just put them married back in the comic.
No,
Like it's just
let it,
weird.
No. I want wedding invitations. I
Let
want
the
a
girl
million
have her
variants.
wedding.
Give me everything, and like, I'm really excited for this book.
Because
How
I
many times
remember
can
when
you
they
get
first got married
can
the
they
first
get married?
time.
If we want to keep them as a couple, and if we want to keep them the only DC couple that's alive and well, we got to keep
Honestly.
them getting married.
I still just need, like, I need at least one variant cover that homages the original wedding special of, like, them on a cake and, like, Dinah throwing, like, Ollie over her shoulder. I just need one variant that homages that, please.
Yes.
Somebody, anybody, like, just one. Because that cover was so iconic. I remember that shit. So it needs to be a thing.
And that's the other thing. We're getting Babs Tarr on interiors. Babs Tarr has not done
Yes.
interiors since Motor Crush. I know.
I believe so.
She did like a Harley Quinn Black, White, and Red special.
Yes.
But yeah, Babs Tarr on interiors. Thank you.
Yes, very much so. So then, this is for all the girls and the gays. Absolute Wonder Woman is bringing out Giganta. Get hyped. That's gonna
so
be great.
fucking
We're
good.
finally
She looks
getting
so
that. And Astro wanted to skip the DC solicitations. Look at it.
Well, I just, come here. Excuse me. Sass. She looks so good. I love the curly hair. I love the curly hair in the Absolute Wonder Woman series. Can we talk about that? Because we haven't. I want to talk about that.
I've been loving
Finally,
Zatanna's design.
somebody remembers how to draw girls for Wonder Woman. I'm alive. I'm renewed. I'm regenerated. Continue. That's all from me. Whatever.
Yes, we're getting that follow up. Then, as we know, we already talked about it. Stephanie Phillips' second issue of Wonder Woman number 30. Nubia's on the cover. Thank God.
Yes. Excited. I'm
Big
so
hypes for
excited.
that. Big hypes for that. And then here was the one that got me real hyped on Twitter, because we're getting a spin out of the new history of the DC universe. It is going to be the new history of the DC universe : the Dakota incident. And based off the solicit, it is going to be a reintroduction of the Milestone characters into the DCU.
Dude.
They're not going to be in their own universe anymore, like with Milestone Returns for some reason. And I was very confused. I even reached out to Joseph Illidge, the editor and writer of some of the Milestone books, on Twitter, and I was like, can I get some questions answered, please? And he was like, it's all going to be answered there. We're going to try to end off this and start here. But my concern is the 93 stuff has already ended. We saw with the anniversary special, the Milestone anniversary special, that like the Milestone Return stuff and the 93 stuff are in two different universes. They're in two different dimensions. So are you doing a integration and a rewrite? Are we done with Milestone Returns? What's going on? That's my concern.
They're part of the DC universe. It doesn't matter now.
True. It almost feels like what they did with the Authority when they brought Apollo and Midnighter into the canon DC universe.
Yeah.
And listen, I love Midnighter and Apollo. I hate the rest of the Authority.
Same.
I hate
on it.
Warren Ellis. But I love those two characters. So if they can just seamlessly integrate, and I mean, we also saw it too recently with Wildcats, and they were throwing what is her name? In Kelly Thompson's Birds of Prey. And you just you just kind of assumed and accepted that this character has always been here. So why can't we do that with the Milestone universe?
I hear you. I hear you. My concern with it is we've tried this.
Okay.
We tried this with Milestone Forever. We tried this when Dwayne McDuffie was alive and he slid them all in during his JLA run, and Static was on the Teen Titans, and we tried this with the New 52 and said, like, Static's here, Hardware's here. We tried this, and it didn't really go
Well, a lot
well.
of
No
things
one
were
really
tried
cared.
in the New 52. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
we
really the
just
fair
pretend the New
one to
52
bring.
didn't exist.
That's
See,
100%
He said, "Let me
fair.
cool myself real quick."
Like the New 52 gives me like Vietnam War flashbacks. Like it just,
I
like,
just have to at least point out, though, that Stephanie Williams is also writing this.
Yes,
is
she's
this
helping,
girl
yes.
also going to get any sleep this next year? Because I swear,
let's talk about it. She's
she-
writing for Ignition. She's writing for Mad Cave. She's writing Wonder Woman. She's helping out with this. Like they got Joseph Village. They got Stephanie Williams, Morgan Hampton, Nicholas Draver Ivy. We just had him on the podcast. Like he's gonna be writing for it. And then they have Carlo. Paglian and then Valentina Delandro doing art, and I'm like, I love that they're letting Nick write and not just draw. I love that. So I'm just, and what's so funny is he didn't even mention any of this when we were talking the last week, so I'm a little salty about it. But it's also like I genuinely want to be excited for this, but I'm very cautiously optimistic because everybody's in the '90s costumes, and I'm like,
Right.
you did all this work to give us the Returns books. Why are they all in their '90s costumes? And I'm just like, oh Lord, please God, no. So
We'll see,
hopefully
we'll see.
we get excitement, we get this. But my other big concern before we move on, we talk about Batman Deadpool, is I really am afraid that this is DC's answer to they don't want to publish other black characters. They're just gonna bus in black characters from next door to
Right.
fix their
Oh, I
black
hate
character
that.
problem.
They're gonna bust them.
Like that's what
I
it
really
feels
feel
like.
like that's what
And
they're gonna
it's so
do.
obvious.
Like
It's so
because
obvious.
that's what the big problem is. They never want to give us a Black Lightning book that lasts more than 6 issues. They never want to give us a Mr. Terrific book that lasts more than 6
DC
issues.
Comics, give me my fucking Vixen book, goddammit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a Vixen web
No, like,
comic
is
right
he
now that no
real?
one's reading on Webtoon, but we can't have a Vixen
no, and like
book.
the trust of Webtoon for, because it's one of those things that fucking enrages me. Because listen, I think DC Go is cool. I think this whole thing we're doing with the Webtoons, I think I appreciate getting it in younger engagement.
Yes.
I enjoy all these little things that we're doing. But like, that's what you do with like a Harley. With like, you have like
Yes.
nothing but Nightwing. You have all this
Or like
stuff.
the Wayne Family Adventures. You don't need to throw your black
Vixen?
characters over on the Webtoon. You need to give them publications. Like, that's
Vixen?
my fear.
So
you can't, first of all, you can't, A, you can't do that. B, that's disrespectful. C, if you want to portray it to younger audience and younger fans, I feel like everyone's just going to be like, who the fuck is this?
That was the problem with her having an animated series on like the CW app for a little bit, and having like Grant Gustin and Stephen Amell be guest stars and shit. I'm gonna give you your biggest dub you could ever have in your entire life. Are you ready for this? Make Vixen the Beyonce of the DC universe. Make Vixen the like Tyra Banks of the DC universe. Less
If she was
problematic
a
and yelling at
Tyra
people.
Banks, like she has her own like front like runway model show.
Yes.
Give it to me, DC. We
Like
love stars.
genuinely make her the Beyonce level of hype in DC.
Or if you want to relate her directly to a comic, make her the Janet Van Dyne of the Marvel Universe.
No, like come on.
Make her the Janet Van Dyne. So this is the part where I drop some knowledge that Stephanie Williams. I'm sorry, I always get them back and forth confused because they're both amazing. Stephanie Williams has an incredible pitch for a Vixen comic that she has been working on getting greenlit with DC for years. This was told to me by G. Willow Wilson. I don't know anything more than that, but hopefully we see that book.
So support
I would
Miss
love that.
Girl. Support Miss
Yes.
Girl.
Go out,
Let her know she's loved.
Support her.
But yeah,
Yes.
so to end that off, I'm excited for more Milestone. My problem is I don't want more Milestone to come at the expense of less other DC black characters. Like, is that fair? Like, Joseph, can we talk? Like, genuine, I would love to sit down with you and have that conversation. And like, even when I talked to Nick about it, about Batman Static and Evan about it, they genuinely were like, vote with your wallet. And like DC needs to promote better, but vote with your wallet. And it's like,
pretty much.
So we'll see. But okay, let's go ahead and dive into the main topic of the day. We after an hour.
After an hour. We, the main topic of the day.
I mean, I devoted a whole half an hour to this. But like,
Oh, you
genuinely,
did cut out this time specifically. Wait, then we
yes,
did
I
this
did this on
time. Good on
purpose.
you. And good on
There
us.
was a method
We
to my
have a great
madness.
host.
Yeah,
We have a
see?
great host. He knows how to keep us on time.
Oh, we're doing great. We're doing great. But like, I mean, like, there were some tangents, but it's fine. But like,
He's a great host.
but like, can we talk about the idea that Grant Morrison proposes in this book that genuinely the Marvel universe can't keep it up? Like, can we talk about it? Can we talk about it? I'm a little concerned that Morrison didn't consult editorial a little bit here.
It is such. First of all, I love the conversation between a Constantine and between a Doctor Strange.
Yes.
My two faves, I love my magic. I actually got the Wanda and Zatanna variant. Yes,
That was such a
yes,
good
ma'am,
cover.
there it is.
Yes.
Oh, it is so good. And I do love the conversation because it's a conversation that I've been having for a while of the themology that surrounds DC and Marvel and kind of how it differs and how we kind of come together. And I did like the conversation of, well, DC does inspire hope in this kind of fantastical, grandiose way, while Marvel gets a little bit down into the weeds, into the dirt, and lets the readers kind of sit there with that knowledge. So before we get too crazy into Morrison and the way that they move, I'm gonna say the way they move in this comic because they are in this comic. That's not even an insane thing to say. Before we even get there, I do appreciate the dichotomy and the conversation that we have about the dichotomy of Marvel and DC that I felt like I was kind of missing a little bit from the first one that we got, but I do love these two characters that are beyond the veil in every sense of the word, really getting down to like, this is how we differ. Seeing Swamp Thing and seeing a Ghost Rider kind of duel, that was sick. And that art, amazing, gorgeous. Okay, let it
Aiden
rip.
Sherman never misses.
Never misses.
Yes.
It was cool. It was cool paneling too. It was a fun
One of
read.
the things I'd like to throw in on top of just like the universe is getting it on, I think it just really describes well
Literally
of
getting
how
it on.
I know, right? How well of like dynamic relationships are when it comes down to, you guys can have your few hookups here and there and your booty calls and stuff like that, but sometimes a relationship isn't always meant to be a steady, stable one to where you guys are always meant to be together. Maybe it is we come together every 30 years and do something special and then we go off and do something different.
Are you gonna read
I like
below?
that deeper
Okay,
conversation.
can we make it lesser than 30? Because I'm not going to survive for that many. Can we do like every 5?
Yeah, like every 5, every
I'm
10
happy
years.
every year. Every year, I would appreciate that personally.
They're not gonna give us every year.
I mean, every 5 would be cool, though. I would be okay with every 5.
A half
I will
a
say,
decade
though,
revisiting. A half a decade little tryst.
I will say, though, I feel like there was something to be like. Maybe this was like Amanda Connor putting her foot down and not wanting to basically have like Harley meets Red Tool, but like legit up in here, because that was a character that her and Jimmy put in their run was Red Tool instead of Deadpool. And like, I get it, like Hulk and Harley was fun, especially because they kind of like gave us New 52 Harley like vibe, like design, because I miss New 52 like
cute,
blue
yeah.
and blue and red hair
Harleys.
Harley. I enjoyed that version of her, but like the Hulk and Harley just felt odd to me.
It's a really weird pairing.
Yes, it
I
felt
will
out
agree.
of like very odd, very weird. It wasn't the
I think it
combo I
felt
expected.
weird in the kind of like almost in between and aftermath of a conversation of Wolverine and Batman, and like that kind of showcase like of, because that is before that Hulk because it. Right, it is. So
It is, yeah.
it's a very weird note, kind of that to leave off of, where I kind of felt reinvigorated like towards the end with the Miss Marvel and Aesthetic, and then like B said, it just kind of ends. But it was just such an interesting conversation between a Laura Kinney and a Nightwing individuals. I love the ending and that spread of a Batman and a Wolverine, and kind of saying like, oh, this is the grandioseness we have to live up to. This is the legacy, the mantle, all this, and then we get kind of
before we get to the best like proteges of all time, because I have thoughts.
I have so many thoughts.
I have thoughts. maybe this is just me, and I love how G. Willow Wilson writes these couple pages, and I love Dennis Cowan's art. But like, did we need Kamala meets Virgil? Like, did we need that? Like, was there anybody else that
were weirdly placed? It was
like,
kind of a weird.
What I would have done to seen Miles v. Virgil. Like, what I would have done to see that. Do I love what G. Willow Wilson does every time she puts a pen to Kamala? Yes. Do I really feel like G. Willow Wilson wants to take a baseball bat to Marvel over making her a mutant? Yes. But, like, I genuinely feel like... And any other day, this would have been cool to see Kamala doing her thing. But, like, I really needed a Miles v. Virgil, and I didn't get that, and I find it very weird. Like, am I wrong for that? I
because
I don't think you're wrong.
Like, this is like your pass across the sun once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yes.
And like we were saying earlier, where it's like, we want to see more of these, but how long are we going to need to wait until the next one?
Exactly.
So it's like, if you're only getting one of these once every 30 years, you don't want to wait another 30 years for the opportunity of seeing that team up and possibly not getting it. So
exactly.
I totally understand it.
It just feels also like it's that, like I was talking about before, the donut in the face kind of thing, to where they're going to dangle something so nice in front of us and then actually just not allow us to take that bite. Because
I was happy to see
liked
this.
It was so nice to
like,
see.
It looks cool.
There were so many times I went through it and I was like, all right, now they're going to kiss. This is so cute. You know, like the two of them, they're adorable together. But it just wasn't like
Now,
the
you know,
gumption that I felt like I
they're
could
in a
have
group
got.
chat.
What I would have paid money for is Miles v. Virgil and then Kamala v. Cassandra Cain.
Yeah.
That I would have paid money for. But, like, this just felt weird. Because the way I see...
even like B said, I didn't even read it in a romantic sense. I genuinely, and maybe this is just how I read things, but I was like, okay, bestie, woo, we're getting added to the superhero group chat. But it's also like one of those things that like I can totally, if I were to reopen it, like the way like B's perspective, I can understand that in the directioning like of the art and stuff like that. So it does kind of like leave a weird, especially for being the last. It does leave a weird in between of like, were you trying to ship them? And like that's fine and that can be cute, but like it's also one of those things that's like I didn't think that's what I was going to get when I saw the pairing of these two. Mm-hmm. I do love the conversation about family, and I do love the showcase of family for two characters that really got their superhero start based in the home and conversations like that. But it felt almost weaker of a tie and a connection than what we saw with a Laura Kinney and a Nightwing, than with a Batman and a Deadpool. It felt like the theming there, and at least as someone that is not well versed on the two other than just the basic knowledge, it felt like the tie was family and being a young hero, and I didn't sense more than that.
Right. Then from there, Laura and Nightwing together was the greatest
so
thing.
So many feelings.
Like, first of all, I love that
cool.
that DC and Marvel are okay with people who have done greatness with two characters getting to cook genuinely like awesome. And like case in point, we had Kevin Smith getting his Daredevil and Green Arrow moment the last time. Now we're getting Tom Taylor getting his Nightwing and Laura Kinney moment here, and he writes both of them. So I know some people have conflicting feelings about his Nightwing run. I don't get it. I don't know, but like, I genuinely love him writing Dick because it feels like he gets Dick. And
it felt like a glove. It was one of those things that like it came back to me when I was there in the weeds. Especially like I don't know, say what you will about the Nightwing run, and I definitely have in the past, and I might again. But there is definitely an emotionality there that kind of feels really front and center. And I don't know, I really teared up with the whole like Gabby being like, oh, like you're just like Laura in that way, and I was like, right.
The Nepo hero thing was so great. Nepo hero as a concept. I'm like, how did we not think of this before? How did no one say this before? Like, it was so cute
bonding
and
of it all.
Yes. Like, can we imagine a world where Dick looks over at Laura and was like, "Did your dad make you eat rats too?" Like, I need that, damn it. Like, I know people don't like All-Star Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder, but like a world where like Dick just looks over at Trauma Bonds like, "Did you eat rats too?" It would be great. It would be lovely. I would be so happy with that.
Mars, what are your thoughts on this one?
Mars has thoughts.
I have
I need to
so
hear
many
'em.
thoughts.
And I'm
Let's
looking,
go.
and I need to hear them.
So this is the book that I've been, the story I've been waiting for since it was announced, since it was teased, and it's like, all right. So first of all, this was way too short. I need more than 8 pages. I need
Yes.
like 20 issues. I don't care. Give me a whole thing. I'm gonna say controversial, and again, this is just for me because as I was reading it, I was like, I want it. I want them to smooch. Let them smooch. Like, I've been pushing for Laura to be queer, but she can be with Dick, okay? If they're gonna let her run around with
We can have
Havoc,
a little date.
or not
We can have a
Havoc,
little date or two.
what's that guy's name that she's
Angel?
Hellion.
Oh, hell yeah, right, yeah.
They're putting her back with Hellion. Fuck that noise. Let her smooch Dick Grayson.
Just don't put her
Whatever.
with Warren again, because that was weird when she was with Time Displaced Warren. That was odd.
I don't want to
I'm
think
over
about
it.
it.
So everything about this book and the fact that it was done with Bruno Redondo, who did his Nightwing run, I love being able to see him draw characters like Laura, like characters like
Yes.
Gabby. Seeing
Gabby
him
was
draw
so cute.
Jonathan the Wolverine.
Oh, Jonathan,
And like,
my heart.
I'm gonna be real. There's more like physical dialogue, I think, between Gabby and Dick
Mm-hmm.
than there is between Dick and Laura. But I loved everything about this, and I especially love the way that it opens, where her name is Laura Kinney, she's Wolverine. She had another name, but she defeated it, and I was like, "Oh,
Period.
that's
Well,
a
because-
good line."
yes,
but then they,
because-
but
I
then they
love it
have
so
dicks.
much.
But then they have dicks, and they're like, it mirrors it, and it's his name is Dick Grayson. He's Nightwing. He had another name, but he outgrew it, and I'm just like,
Yes.
No,
yes,
and
that right
yes.
there is what made me like. I had this kind of weird reaction when Dick came as like Nightwing, and that came to a revelation to me in my younger ages because I never wanted to let go of him as Robin. He was
Okay.
always Robin to me. And so
Yeah.
after reading that line, something kind of just connected into my brain to where I was like, I've got to let him grow up. I've got to allow this character
Oh.
to be his own character.
Right.
Because as much as I
Yes.
love him
I
as
love
Robin,
that.
this is something to where he deserves to be his Nightwing. He now
Mm-hmm.
deserves to be his own version of Batman, but not Batman.
Well,
He
it's
gets
one of
to outgrow
exactly.
that.
Because
And-
there's been
and
stints where
especially,
he's
like,
been
even-
Batman.
Yes. And especially like what Mars was saying of like there was a lot more conversation between a Gabby and a Dick than anything else. I loved that because it honestly just reminded me of like a Batman and Wolverine kind of operating. Like it makes sense that like in this heat of the battle kind
Why
of thing
haven't
of
we
like
ever got that?
no, and it's like one of those things that like, and when I like, and not even the heat of the battle, like we're just returning and we're like getting information and like things like adrenaline's wearing off,
We'll
and we
get to that.
have a Laura Kinney that's not really talking about it and is not going to talk about it, and we're not
Well, I
really
think that-
here to shoot the shit until we go to a rooftop. Like,
I think another thing too is Dick Grayson and Laura Kinney, they have very conflicting personalities.
Yes.
Dick is a
Oh,
lot more
yes.
quippy and jokey, which is exactly what Gabby is, which is I think why literally as soon as those two characters are introduced, they can't shut up, and I love that.
Yes.
it was like
And,
a speaking
what
for
I really and,
Logan,
I-
like
it's-
the yeah.
and-
Well, the
and-
way
and,
like
that's
Scott
what,
speaks for Logan sometimes,
Yes,
where it's just
and-
like
and
you
it's-
can't
and
really
it-
like deal with him right now. Let me speak
Yes.
about this.
And it's so interesting. That's why I was a little salty that like Morrison couldn't help themselves and put Damien in like their book, because I would have loved to seen Damien and Dick versus Laura and Gabby. The
Right.
idea
I
how,
do think no, and
Yeah.
mm,
And I mean,
Because-
we do get little hints at that because Dick does mention my brother's an assassin, which I'm like,
Mhm.
oh. And
But
then
like,
we
could
see,
you have
like,
imagined Gabby and Damien like off of
I
each
know,
other?
man.
That's why I'm saying this needs to just be a whole series. Like, if there a lot of these. So because this is what Batman, Deadpool, and the other one was Deadpool, Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Between both of these issues, I feel like a lot of these stories were very forced or phoned in.
Yes.
And people, I think, were kind of saying the same thing about Tom Taylor when this was announced, because they're like, oh, they're just taking his two biggest books from either companies and mishmashing them together. But
it wasn't until reading this and seeing the interactions between Laura Kinney and Dick Grayson that I'm like, wait a minute. These are basically the same characters in different fonts.
And that's exactly what, like, the Daredevil and, like, Green Arrow thing, where it's like, well, you like, I understand the idea of, like, oh, like, this is just, like, two big sellers for this writer, but it's also, like, understanding really in the weeds of it of, like, I think this writer understands this archetype that we are presenting here to the point that it can be mirrored in two characters and you can still have the differential of two characters. And that's what's really cool about it.
Exactly.
Something that I caught on when I was reading both of these two is when I was going through the Marvel version first, it felt like they told all of the Marvel writers, hey, we need you to write a DC like story for this. And then vice versa for the DC one, it felt like they told all these writers, hey, we're looking for more of a Marvel-based story kind of feel out of this. And as we go through the first Batman issues from those, I can definitely see that. And then counterbalancing that into the more smaller issues that we get out of both of them, that's why I think they balance so much better, is because of the fact that these characters counterbalance each other so well, versus the Batman and Deadpool story architecture, where those characters are a little bit different. They don't have that kind of flow with each other as much as the Laura Kinney and Nightwing
was
did.
fun, but it just made me want to read Deadpool. I'm gonna be so honest. I just sat here reading this, and I was like, I gotta catch up on my day. I miss him.
And it just like that was the issue that I had with like Morrison's Batman Deadpool story, because with the Deadpool Batman book, it felt like, who was that? Wade? I forget who wrote that. But like it felt as if that felt more back and forth-ish, versus here it was just Deadpool with a couple instances of Batman, that Dark Claw, and it was like, what? And then it just it felt like Morrison would be such a great writer to tackle Deadpool, and you even read his Substack article he wrote about this. It was like, that sounds really cool, but then they were like, yo, I kind of just took Ryan Reynolds out of the movie to the point I even put Cassandra Nova in here.
Okay,
and
but I love Cassandra Nova.
And I love Cassandra Nova too, but the minute like fingers were in heads, I was like, I know where we are.
Yeah, that's
I knew where we are, and that's why I was like,
And it just, and like the minute Morrison themselves walks in the room, I'm just like, oh, we're getting this meta.
No,
that's a lot.
I am one of the few people that don't care for Grant Morrison. I think Grant Morrison uses big words and only knows how to write using a thesaurus to make themselves sound smarter than they actually are. And that is coming from somebody who lives with a Grant Morrison defender. So you know how those conversations go. But listen, Marvel, DC, where's this story at? Where is the Scarlet Witch and Zatanna team up? Where's that at?
Let's talk about that, though. Let's talk about
Where's that?
There's two variants that we've gotten. The first one had Cassandra and Elektra. This one had Wanda and Zatanna. And I'm like, you have two sets of bangers on your hands that you wasted for no reason. Why?
Covers of things we're never gonna get. I'm still upset about the Wonder Woman and
as much as I love. Yeah, right. That one, we need that. But here's the other thing too.
That looks so cool. Yes.
As much as I loved the Swamp Thing, Ghost Rider, Constantine, Doctor Strange,
I loved it, and I'm not mad at it.
But part of me wishes that we had gotten the Zatanna and Scarlet Witch team up as our magic story. Like,
honestly,
I know we had to have one.
Especially because you're about to make Wanda the Sorcerer Supreme. Why wouldn't you pivot that? Why wouldn't you launch that?
No, and it's like we don't like. I understand,
or
the
just
idea
have
of,
all
like,
6 of them. Like,
exactly.
It's not that big of a deal.
I understand the idea of like we can only have like certain themes, or we can only like cut this. Like, I understand having like, oh, these two cursed entities of Ghost Rider. Like, I understand trying to find like so closely and having like, okay, this is our magic story, but I don't know. I feel like it was so restrictive in the way that we kind of lay out this comic that we said it before, that like I get to the last 2 and I'm like, I already had my fun, actually.
Right. I will say that the one that I still want, I said this on stream, I love the Jenny Frisian Wonder Woman and Storm cover from the last one. I think that's a great cover. But what I would give for a Diana v. Carol Danvers blow-for-blow fight. what I would
So
give.
I kind of like that because we saw with the 90s amalgam, we've already seen Storm and Wonder Woman interact.
Combined. And
We've seen them combine, we've seen them interact, but Captain Marvel wasn't what she is now.
Yes.
When that first happened. So
she was just Miss Marvel or Binary or something like that.
I think seeing Carol Danvers and Diana come together, I would just like to see, even if they're just sitting down having a cup of coffee, I just want to see how
they're both
these characters
military
interact.
or warriors. They're both that kind of thing. I would love, even if it was kind of like how Justice League Doom had that weird thing where someone poisoned Diana and she was fighting everybody in the joint that was Cheetah. Pit them against each other for 5 seconds. Let me get one awesome shot of blow for blow.
No, we do that
and
all
then
the
it
time
turns
with Wonder
into
Woman, where she grapples for at least a good.
No, not like a whole thing. Just
exactly.
Even if it's just even for 1 page, I need fist to fist, just bam, and then it's okay, now we gonna square up against whoever's coming after us. I need that. That's what was missing about the Captain America one, because that felt very much oh, I respect you.
Right, and let's go through the whole historical timeline we've both been through. We both lived long lives.
Yes. I need a Carol v. Diana yesterday, please. So but in terms of the Morrison one, I thought the Dark Claw thing was fun. I thought the idea of Morrison one day writing Deadpool sounds hilarious. But I don't know, it felt very much like he didn't really care about Bruce for the first time in or they didn't care about Bruce for the first time in 20 years. I was Grant, you don't care about Bruce Wayne? What's going on? I did love the thing they put in there of I'm Bruce Wayne. I sit around with a sidekick who rambles all the time. I've dealt with the Joker.
Right, I'm not even listening to you. I've been tuning you out.
I've been tuning you out. This is nothing. I love that they put that. I love that they put that. But I just other than that, Bruce really wasn't really here for this. This was the Deadpool party featuring Batman versus the other one, where it felt like they bounced off of each other a little bit better.
I will have to give one of my favorite things from this one was the fact that Damian gets to be completely just outrageous Damian for a little bit, completely just not listening to Bruce, hitting the dude hitting
Cassandra.
Cassandra on the head and everything like that, and then just Deadpool's little quip of oh look, you got a little mini me over there, Bruce, and it's I'm my own thing. I loved that whole just gimmick right there. It just felt so, I don't know, Grant Morrison writing Damian. It just felt felt hit on the head. It just was everything that I
miss angsty Damian.
I miss angsty. That's why it was so bothersome when Williamson kind of dug Damian out of the trash can that Benjamin Percy put him in, because it was I like the idea that Grant Morrison put all the love that they could into Damian, and then Damian made a during Teen Titans, and that they were going to go off and do their own thing and be a doctor or a ninja or whatever the fuck else. And then Williamson was nah, I want to give him a girlfriend and make him Robin again. And I was I don't need that.
It's cute when I'm there reading it, but when I think about it in the large scheme of it all, I'm kind of oh, I think that I don't think this boy should be in Gotham anymore. I think I think by the time, if you wanted to age up a Ken, I think we should have taken Damian out of the equation. Sorry, y'all love your Superboy so much. I mean,
I'm just saying.
Come on.
So I will say the Laura Dick book was the highlight. Yes. The Constantine Strange one was fun, but
and
overall,
I think very good if you're an individual like me that loves to have the conversation between the duality or the separating dichotomy of Marvel and DC. That is your chapter.
Yes, the getting to see Dennis Cowan art with G. Willow Wilson writing was fun, but I think if I could take the first Batman Deadpool book story and put it with this, and then mix in one or two of the other like the Green Arrow Daredevil story into this, it would be a better package compared to the sums of the whole are. There's I want to jigsaw puzzle it there's different qualities.
They could have been in that story. Wanda and Zatanna could have been. I don't know. I don't know. Would it have been that hard to tack them in a little bit at the end? I don't know.
It's just apparently
that's the donut. That's the donut for you.
Yeah, it's just weird. But from there, we're gonna go ahead and give you some highlights for next week for your local comic book shop. Make sure that you go pick these up, or make sure you pre-order the next set of books for these books. So for DC, there was Absolute Batman number 14. After much delay, we're finally seeing Bruce and Croc go up against Bane. It's going down in the streets, folks. Get hyped for that. Absolute Wonder Woman number 14 is dropping. We're getting more follow-up on the Zatanna nonsense. That's going to be fun for the folks who are in that. DC KO number 2, I'm nervous. Because we already know how the bracket...
boys.
Yeah, I'm nervous. Immortal Legend Batman number 4. If you've been reading Dan Mora's Love Letter to Batman, make sure you peep that. Batman v Green Arrow v Question.
No, yeah,
like who thought of that? I'm confused.
Me, it's for me.
It.
Like, I'm confused.
And let Mars have her book.
I mean, it's fine. I didn't know we needed this many white men in a book. I'm just saying. I'm
okay, but at least one of them, maybe two of them, are invited to the cookout. So.
Right? No, like I'm cool with Vic. I'm cool with Vic and Ollie showing up, but Bruce is questionable sometimes. But
they need him to sell the book.
Yes, and that always bothers me so much. But it's frustrating. Then we have DC's I Saw Ma Hunkle Kissing Santa Claus. This is going to be the cutest book of the year. I'm excited because I love holiday specials, and I haven't genuinely, that was the one thing about Jeff Johns' JSA that I loved, is that he made Ma Hunkle canon and put her in the mix as the caretaker of the JSA. I thought that was so cute, and I'm glad that we're paying homage to that. So shout out to Ma Hunkle. She need more love. For Marvel, we have Daredevil, Punisher, The Devil's Trigger number 1 coming out. That's going to be a fun read. Cloak or Dagger number 2 is coming out. Marvel, listen to me real quick. You have so many Marvel Rivals fans that love C&D. You are advertising the Marvel Unlimited app in the Times Square map on Marvel Rivals. Just give C&D a book. We don't have to talk about. You can rewrite the problematic origin. It's okay. You can rewrite the problematic origin. Just do it already.
Why
it's
do we
okay.
get to see them never, except when it comes to a tie-in for an event?
Yes, and they keep putting them with the X-Men. I don't understand. Stop putting Cloak and Dagger with the X-Men. They're not mutants. It's weird. They did it when Dark Reign happened. They put them on the Dark X-Men, even though that Jai Lee cover was gorgeous. But I don't understand why we keep putting C&D with the X-Men. It doesn't make any damn sense.
I put it on the list because I'm not even interested in event. I'm just having fun with them.
Spider-Man style mutant, right?
Yeah, they're like Spider-Man level enhanced type characters.
Street level X.
Yeah.
They got and they got injected with some random things, and now here we are, kind of.
Right,
it's
it's an easy rewrite. Why are we playing games? Infernal Hulk number 1 comes out. If you've been following that really weird ass Hulk story, go peep that. Then from Image, we have both Geiger. If you've been reading the Ghost Machine books, Geiger is really good. It's definitely worth a read if you like post-apocalyptic radioactive nonsense. And then Skinbreaker from Robert Kirkman. This book, oh my god. When you read this book from Robert Kirkman and David Finch has poured his life into the series, and you see how this book took years to be made. And Robert Kirkman was just do it. Take your time. Paint the hell out of this thing. And when you read this book, your life is altered. So
that's why you tune into indies, everybody, and that's why we read things that are not just big two, because there is art that you are missing. Your eyeballs will not feel satisfied until they open these comics. Guys, come on, give it a chance.
I genuinely will say, if there is one book, because next year, since we just started in October, next year we're going to be having the Mask Awards. We're going to start that as a yearly thing we do for people. But if any indie book would have won a Mask Award this year, it would have been Skinbreaker, because we're only 3 issues in. And when you hear the story about how this came out and then you read the first 2 issues, you're just aghast and blown away. So make sure that you peep Skinbreaker. Then from Ignition Press, Arcadia #1 comes out. I've been trying to make sure
so
I look
excited for that book.
Like, I've been trying to keep an eye on Ignition because I read like some of their books recently. Ignition has just kind of popped out of nowhere and they've been killing it. So if you need some new indie stuff to read, Ignition has been really piquing my interest. Stephanie Williams' Roots of Madness is such a good book if you need something to read.
And Arcadia in particular is done by the Miranda brothers, who did a book called We Live with Aftershock Comics, which ended up blowing up to be one of the biggest books that they had. So really excited to see these two working together again.
Yeah, so like definitely go peep that and like just try new things, folks. Like definitely go peep new interests. Look at the solicitations. We're gonna be talking about them like when they come out on the show. I'm gonna try to get more of the information on Boom and Images solicitations for the show because they definitely do matter in all these different publishers. To all the people who are saying that Power Rangers Prime is getting canceled, Penguin hasn't said that's being canceled, so stop reading the word penultimate and assuming shit's getting canceled. That's for me. And once they say it's canceled, cool, but stop assuming shit.
Can I plug 2 indie books that are coming out this week that people need to read?
Let us hear. Let us know.
So the first one is Galactic from Distillery. This one's being done by Kurt Pyers, who is currently doing Lost Fantasy for Image, which has been a really big book. But this is essentially Star Wars saga and sex criminals if it had a baby. And we need more sexy comic books, okay? We need more comics for people, boink. And then another book that I'm particularly passionate about because I had a chance to read the first 3 issues. This is from Dark Horse Comics. It is Devil on My Shoulder by Kyle Starks. It's essentially a horror book with I spit on your grave type vibes. Except it's done in a not creepy way. It's a very sensitive subject matter, but it's handled very well.
You maybe walk out the door and come back like Grandpa from The Simpsons.
No, literally. I was like,
I've seen I Spit on Your Grave. So you brought me back in the door.
Very sensitive subject matter, but does it very well and in a new light. And like I said, I've had the pleasure of reading the first 3 issues, and every single issue leaves you coming back for more. And unfortunately, Dark Horse hasn't been promoting this book the way that they should. So please pick up Devil on Your Shoulder when it comes out this Wednesday.
Most definitely. And like, folks, if you don't have a local comic book shop by you, there's awesome places like Midtown that you can buy books from. There's digital platforms like Global Comics or Neon Ichiban. Make sure that you're supporting the industry how that you can.
I'm having so much fun with Global Comics and getting all my Speed Racer stuff. I've been, because I've been so lazy. I have no comics. I have nothing. But to catch up on Global Comics has been really cool because I've only been buying the Speed Racer, but they have the Speed Racer story. They have a kind of like side going on of Racer X, so there's more than one, and my silliness didn't realize that. So to be able to catch up all in like a good afternoon, a good night, there's no better feeling.
And a lot of these indie comics, publishers like Mad Cave, Image, Dark Horse, they have been putting, especially their first issues, but they've been putting a lot of their single issues on digital free platforms like Hoopla. Yes. So I always recommend, if you're hesitant about a series, I understand, especially with indie #1s, they really can be hit or miss. Using your library, using Hoopla, it's a all risk, no risk, all reward type program.
I was about to say, I was like, oh my God.
I'm like, let me do that 3 times twice. It's a no risk, all reward type program. So definitely check out Hoopla.
Most definitely. All right, cool. Well, Mars, you are the guest. What is your closing statement for this episode of issue 14 of Comics Unmasked? What are you going to leave people with?
Closing statement is, I know it's been kind of controversial lately, but comics truly are for everyone. I believe that there is a comic book out there for everybody that they will love. I believe that there is a community of comics for everybody out there. And here's the thing. If you're looking at a certain community and either you feel like you don't belong or you don't feel like you're being invited to the table, screw that. Flip the table, reset it, and make your own table and invite all of the people that you would want to be with. I've been very thankful to be part of this community for about 12 years now. I've met some of my best friends because of platforms like Instagram and TikTok and even Twitter, where I vibe with these people because we have the same vibe. you're not going to be friends with everybody, and that's okay. So
you don't
create
need to
a community.
Be friends with everybody.
You don't need to be friends with everybody. Exactly. It's exhausting. So create your own community, foster and harbor that community, and love the comics that you love, and don't tell anybody different.
I love that. I love that. B, what you want to leave these people with?
I say it every week. People, just go out and read. Whether it's a comic book, whether it's a regular book, we just need more people reading. Less media literacy here in the United States would be very nice. And so just start picking up those books. Just start reading. I would just love everybody to absorb more information and think for yourself at the end of the day.
Astro, what you want to leave these people with?
Let me wrap it with all that of the conversation of like there really is a comic out there for everybody. Like we talk all the time, and a lot of the topics that we end up covering is like big two related stuff, our DC and our Marvel. But it's one of those things that it is very easy to get burnt out on a long event, like reading all the tie-ins, being the smartest comic book fan at your shop, knowing everything that happened in every event. It is tiring, and I wake up every day. So really, when we talk about indies and stuff like that, it is so refreshing reading fiction and reading the fantastical, and you don't even recognize these beats yet. There's such a familiarity when it comes to superhero comics, superhero events, what have you, but to read an indie story that is, I don't know what this is, I don't know who these characters are, I don't really know this writer or this artist, I'm just going to be in for this adventure, and the things you will find, and the stories you will find, and the creators you will find, it is an amazing vast world that if you are only reading the big two, you're limiting yourself. You really, really are.
You are.
Most definitely. And like, I'm gonna echo all of that because like I got clowned for it when we started the show, but I genuinely was like, you know what? Tini is one of my favorite writers. I'm gonna peep Exquisite Corpses out, and I sat there just like, damn, over and over and over again because you don't expect these things to be the way they are when you're diving into certain books, and you take first strides and you read certain things, and some of the best books I've ever read have been indie books. Some of the best books I've read have been like titles you never would have thought I'd
books
pick up.
Books that stick with me for longer.
Yes, like the kid who started out with Teen Titans and Young Justice and then dove into a whole new platform, read some of the craziest books he's ever read in indies. One of my favorite books of all time is from Vault Comics, Wasted Space, and that book alone showed me that you can find a new story anywhere, folks. But make sure that you are following us on every platform. Make sure that you come through and hang out with us. We'll be back next week with another episode. Shout out to the Discord boosters, Ruby, me, Astro, B, White Wolf, Jen, Callie, Little Bird, Soft Serve. We appreciate you folks so much for supporting us, and we can't wait for another episode with you folks right here at Comics Unmasked. Peace out.